Summons.
Yes, chieftain. Our allied town is being attacked.
Okay, come on. And Cassius is down. I think we got some time to go and attack there. I think. Sadly, with the Phoenixes and the hero, it's hard. I can't really fortify a position. They're far too good at ripping through it. Maybe if I could get enough of fortification down that I could just shred them upon approach, but Oi. This is the issue with putting all the units on a ranged hero. They end up not getting stuck into combat. Attack inbound.
We're under attack.
What? You seek me help?
Yes, chieftain. We're under attack.
You seek me help?
Only one vehicle made it out.
Yes, chieftain. Need something? No problem. Let's ride.
There we go. Ooh, beautiful. Once I have Larry's base down, I should have enough of an opening to comfortably deal with the spider. I could, I suppose, deal with her now, but I want Larry's base down because they're just gonna do fucking this. It feels like a greatly weakened force. I don't think I need to be worried.
What is your will? We're under attack. Command me.
I'm not seeing spellcasters or siege out of them. Actually, no, I am seeing the occasional catapult. Yeah. I do wonder why meat wagons never made it into WoW, except as a Wreck Never song and as a mount for a collector's edition. Like, they were like the signature undead siege weapon, and you saw them a hell of a lot. So it's just like, you know, it's just puzzling to me, you know? So much was carried over between the games. Why did we see so little of that? Your melee troops will tend to get tied up, but say if there's defenders or towers, they'll tend to get dragged, they'll get attacked, and they'll get dragged away from killing buildings. Makes bases last so much longer. Siege weapons are back from the fighting, so they'll just target what they want, and they'll die easy if they get attacked, but God, will they actually help tear down a base. This attack came a lot sooner than anticipated. I'll let them have their way. I could try distance mining down here to get access to that gold mine the Great Guard are defending. But, yeah. Yeah, I don't think it'll work too well, and I'm not that desperate for gold. Pride. I don't get why it's called Pride. I am so glad at the removal of food cost on workers. It is fucking heavenly. But the first orc book of Arkain implied that we could have taken, well, I outright said that if we let the spider live, we could have taken it as a pet. Or somehow taking its young as pets, or kind of thing, you know? There's yet again no reference to that idea here. So, like, you know, on other time, remember at the end of the second Undead book, they were saying, like, oh, you could kill it, but this other group will want it alive. Here, we only found out we could have gotten something for leaving it alive in the, like, epilogue. And here it's just a stabby thing. Like, yeah, we in the first in the first orc book, when I found out there was a difference if we left it alive in the epilogue, and here they haven't changed that. Unlike say the tower bit and the secret passage bit earlier on, where they acknowledged it, it's still down as just kill it. So I'm not sure if there is anything if we don't kill it or not. I'm going to kill it because it'll mean a mission is easier later on. The Iron Thunder side with you because you've proven yourself as a hunter. So I don't want... It's one less enemy I have to deal with. But I know the idea of having spider minions could be fun. But to be fair, I probably wouldn't end up using them. Alright, I'm gonna get the peasant levies going as well. The idea of these is that they'll just help keep my siege weapons alive. They'll also just be some general extra damage, not that I expect anything of them. Shit. Didn't realize they clumped up so bad. Everyone, on this fuck. Siege weapons? What siege weapons? At least I swear that there was an allusion to being able to get spider minions, at the end of during the epilogue with Argot. At the end of the first orc book. If memory serves, first time around I did break all the eggs. I don't think there's anything of note. I find custom campaigns are pretty nice about, you know, not being a complete dick about that. Like hiding stuff in eggs or, you know, null houses. It's just like, if there's an item there, it'll drop from the enemy.
something you're doing?
Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Then I need 1, 2, 3. Then I'll take 2 of these.
We need more gold. Can't build there.
Someone call me up.
The 9. Just faster reinforcements.
Our town is under attack.
Wait, what? Nice.
Work complete. Yes, work complete. Work complete. Work complete.
Okay, I'm gonna march out.
How may I serve?
Need something. What is your will?
Hear the summons.
Yes, chieftain.
You seek me help?
Tastingo. Glad to be here. Ready. Need something. Command me. Good one.
How may I serve? What is agreement?
What do you want? We're under attack. Something you're doing? Yes, chieftain. No problem.
Hit him. Hit him. Finished him. Thank you. The peasant levies doing their jobs. They couldn't keep many of them up. Keep going. Keep going. I never actually did stun anyone, did I? That's awkward. Peons will also get me a little bit of cash with their attacks as well, so on occasion they'll keep my siege weapons alive, they'll provide us distractions for my better units. And they'll do some extra little damage. Alright. Vaguely arrowy. But, yeah. Still serving a few different roles. It can be useful. Certainly, you know, there might be a place for more finesse with it, but it's working out. Yeah, this assault went a lot better than I anticipated. Oh, hero's gone. Magnificent. Yeah, now it's just clear up. Hey, we're not done here yet. Hey, when the AI does that. Just help me finish it off. Hey. I wonder why the Grey Guard was renamed from the Caster Kit. Like everyone else still has the same name. That should be enough. We better retreat before the improved dogs burn down the rest of the forest. Take revenge later, I swear. The last survivors of green-skinned scum have escaped, destroyed our forward base, and are currently running for their lives. The cowards said help. We still destroyed the majority of the clan. The Empire cannot afford to waste more resources here while there's a war going on. The Rooks are not our main concern. Tell your commanders to burn down the forest and leave. We are done here. Yes, Commander Darkfang. Huh. They were saying that only humans were in command, but there's one of the altered people in command. It must just be an exceptional case. That, or it's a very detailed mask. And that's just reminded me. Kamen Rider. It's you've probably seen Power Rangers. It's a series that came years and years before that. Super Sentai is what Power Rangers came from, but I'm not sure if Shinomori had anything to do with Super Sentai. It had to do with a variety of different things like it, but I'm not sure if he did. But anyway, you know, there's like Monster Week and whatnot. In Kamen Rider X, they had a range of monsters. Ant Capone. Al Capone, but he's an ant. No, as in an ant monster. Humanoid ant monster. So they will take like the creature name and the name of someone. So there was Leech Dracula. Starfish Hitler. That's another one. Outright they had like a slightly distorted Hitler mask. Think of like, you know, how the Halloween movies, apparently the mask the guy's wearing is actually a warped Shatner mask. Think like that. But it's outright, but it's Hitler. And he's outright called Starfish Hitler. I just find it funny. It's hysterical. I love Kamen Rider. It's so cheesy. It's so campy. It's beautiful. And they do shit in it that you wouldn't see over here, or maybe it's just in this time, in a kids show. Like, father and daughter reunited after they've been used as a hostage against each other for who knows how long. Basically, if the kid did and the father will be killed, father did and the kid will be killed. Kind of threat going on. They finally been reunited. He's holding her in his arms and he starts falling to the ground. Giant axe buried in his spine. This is also aimed at like 8 to 10 year olds, I would say, going by the Shonen Rider scouts from earlier seasons. It's hard to judge their age, but they looked young. There's another episode where kids are mind controlled into committing suicide. They jump off buildings believing they can fly. They just slap off the ground. Which they do show. It's campy and cheesy, but it's still the idea of it. You know, sensors would just spontaneously combust if you suggested doing that over here. And yet, over in the 70s, they got to do that just fine. How over in 2000, with Kuga, they had kids dying there too. You didn't see it, per se, but they had kids dying. One villain was, I think, jellyfish-based. That, or it was like a thermal conflict. Like, people were in warm water, she's like, sudden cold shock or something. It's either like she was electrocuting them to death, or was there some weird, like, temperature thing. I can't remember, but she would attack people in bodies of water. Kugold, his enemies, played a game, so they had to abide by particular rules and targets. So she could only attack people in water that followed a musical scale, like the pools of hotels, as long as the hotel name followed the musical scale. Do, re, mi, kind of thing. To put a further logic to it, the Linto were never a threat to these beings. So to make killing them fun, they have to abide by rules and restrictions. Because that's the only way they can actually make a challenge of it. Self-imposed restrictions and handicaps. The Linto were so little threats. That's what they refer to humans as, or I don't know, maybe just the local Japanese. I'm not sure. They only really encountered them. It's not like they suddenly took a detour to France. So I'm not sure if they just saw the Japanese as the continuation of some tribe they used to be killing, or that's just their name for humans outside of them. I'm presuming they're humans, just, altered. But, one villain was killing people in swimming pools. And I think that you do see a few kids' bodies just floating in the water. 2 girls are blown up by a villain. It's kind of obfuscated a little through camera angles or like cutting away, but, what's after happening. Again, I've seen Power Rangers growing up, and you never see something like that in it. Or in any other kids' shows that I saw as a kid, They're always a lot cleaner. So it's... And again, I'm not critiquing it, it's just an observation of how different it is. And it's, on some level, I'm actually appreciating it. The series is fun. I'm quite enjoying them. Another note, Ishinomori, the guy behind Kamen Rider, also worked on the Japanese Spider-Man show. Fuck. I end up all sorts of tongue-tied there. I'm not sure how I'm gonna cut it. But, I was trying to say about the Japanese Spider-Man. I'm making one point about Tokusatsu versus Henshin Hero. Tokusatsu is apparently meant to be more the the camera angles or something, like the cinematography of it. I saw something claiming. So someone else was saying that the actual genre will be henshin hero, but I never see people using that phrasing. It's always tokusatsu, as if it may be cinematography, but the only thing that uses that cinematography would be this kind of thing. I have no idea, but yeah, the Japanese Spider-Man thing is very different to normal Spider-Man. It centers around this Japanese guy who's over in Japan. A mysterious object crashes from out of the sky into a local mountain range. He doesn't really care. His father is a Xeno. I think he was like a astroarchaeologist, xenoarchaeologist. Something rather audacious title, but I can't quite remember. But he was interested, and the guy was meant to come along, but he was like, "Oh, I want to go to this racing tournament," so he's not going to go. But then he started for the last bit, I think, and then like right before he was going to set off to the tournament, he'd been getting like these strange whispers and visions. So he ends up called to the mountain, where he sees his father murdered by the villains of the work. He tries to fight, but he gets injured, and then falls into a pit in the ground. Conveniently, it's the same pit that Garia is in. And Garia is the last survivor of planet Spider, an alien, and he's the one who called in that craft. He'd initially landed on this planet centuries ago, during the feudal era of Japan, to try and strike down the big bad of the show. He failed, and the ground opened up, and he was sealed down in a cave full of spiders. I guess he must have died on them. They also bit the shit out of him. I believe there was some reference to them biting him as well. But he dwelled down there for centuries, due to like his people are long-lived. A single day on their planet is a lot longer than a day on ours. So the hundreds of years passed for like 20 for him. But when the guy comes down injured, Garia gives him a gadget that gives him a blood transfusion, giving him the blood of someone, giving him a bit of Garia's blood, which revitalizes his body, but gives him strange visions of spiders. Garia passes away not long after the guy wakes up, remaining alive, barely. Well, he's mostly dead, is what I'm trying to say. This is my take of it. I can't quite remember their phrasing anymore. He loses his human form. He's now nothing but a household spider. With a bit of his mind left, he's able to communicate with the main guy, give him advice and whatnot, teach him about his new powers and his gadgets and whatnot. Before passing, he got this bangle on his arm called the Spider Protector. It shoots out his Spider-Man suit. He can also call for a car that he can drive around in. The car will also fly, which he uses to get into the Leopardon, his mech. Yes, Spider-Man gets a mech, and this is where the idea of having a mech in a tokusatsu / henshin hero thing comes from. And yeah, you may have seen a clip going around, a gif. It's Emissary of Hell, Spider-Man. Yeah, this is a series. I should have led with that. It's fantastic. It's beautiful. There was one funny bit in it. Like, one of the henchmen mooks is on the ground, and Spider-Man like pounces on him and dishes one last slap to him, slapping him on the ass. And the guy's just like, oh, and dead, presumably. The worst of touches. But apparently Stan Lee was actually a big proponent of it. They did up the pilot for it, and all the execs came out a selection of execs came out to see it. They hated it, but Stan Lee stood up and reported. He apparently he felt that it kept the spirit of Spider-Man. Like, while they changed all the details of it, how he got his powers, the character was, where he was from, it kept the spirit of him, you know, as an everyman. Because Like, I'm not sure. I don't remember anything else about the main guy's stats. Like, you know, was he... He wasn't Hongo with his 600 IQ, you know. As far as I remember, the guy just loved biking. That was his stick. You know? But, I have seen people saying about how Peter's life is suffering. This guy, like, he has a girlfriend, but he keeps Clark Kenting it, disappearing and turning up in his hero form to save her. His girlfriend, his sister keeps shitting on him for abandoning his girlfriend. So, yeah, it fits there too. But, there was one funny bit in it that I did not expect. In episode 2, he's like just wandering, thinking to himself because he has some memories of Garia that was implanted in him because of the blood transfusion. They were linked on a deep level because of it, and certainly because I actually don't think I said it in this version. Garia had incredible psychic powers, but they were very fine-tuned to the point of absolute worthlessness, nearly. He could he could telepathically communicate with people. I misspeak. He could telepathically communicate with one person. The main guy. The main guy is simply the main guy because he could receive Gary's communications. And because of this connection, Gary refers to him as brother and stuff like this. But when he got the blood transfusion, he seems to have gotten more memories of Garia. So he has memories of Garia coming back to his planet in the Leopardon, finding them all dead, tracking the villain down and trying to fight him and failing. And when you see this montage, he's after walking into a church and he's gazing up upon the crucifix on Jesus' face. Garia's face fades in over it, outright equating him with a Christ figure. Then later on, he's falling off a cliff and he's being washed off a waterfall and he's struggling to stay on. The environment fades to black and he sees a single spider web fall from heaven. And for a moment he thinks it's Garia. Then vision clears and it's just a vine that he could grab onto. There's a story I remember hearing. A sinner is in hell. He's done nothing but terrible things all his life, except for one deed. As such, Buddha takes mercy upon him and casts down a lone spider web, for he had spared this lone spider at some point. So he cast down a single spider web to tread, for him to climb his way to heaven. But the other sinners see this, and while he's climbing, they're trying to climb on as well. He gets greedy and tells them to bugger off. So the web breaks. He was scared of it breaking, but he didn't be like, let me up first, you can come up then, it may break. Or he didn't take on any approach like that, he just told him to fuck off, full stop. But given the thing in the show, it's again putting Gary in a religious figure of light. Again, you would not see that in kids programming over here. You would not see that. Then again, I suppose Superman has had those moments of his arms outstretched, hasn't he? Or I remember people saying that, he has had some Christ allusions to him, allusions to being, like that. Still, stuff like that hasn't jumped out at me. I haven't seen it. This was very upfront, outright fading in and out on a crucifix with Gary's face overlaid. So it's very on the bloody nose. It's so on the nose, they planted 2 more on it and are nailing them in. It's just a cloak of noses. Oh, God, imagine hay fever. Ugh. But yeah, all I'm saying is, they're fantastic shows. Watch them. Go, watch them. I've spent 10 minutes here talking about Spider-Man. But yeah, apparently Stan Lee was the only one who applauded it. He loved it. Well, and someone else was claiming, I couldn't find evidence of it, But there was apparently another live-action show of Spider-Man or another one of their properties around that time. But Stanley actually felt that the Japanese one worked better. It kept the feel of like a comic book better. Even if it did its own thing entirely, it kept the feel of a comic book character better than the other thing did. Apparently. That was just a straight comment. There is actually an interview with Stan Lee about the making of the Japanese Spider-Man thing. I would like to see that at some point. Maybe it's said in there, maybe it's not. I have no idea. Something if you're interested to look into. And yeah, I'll be damn sure to give you an extra length video to compensate for this tangent. It's just... I can't be honest, I don't actually remember how I started talking about this. Like, oh, Starfish Hitler. That was funny. Because it's just like, that's an outright distorted Hitler mask, and he's like, starfish. It's like slightly stretched out or whatever Hitler mask, and it's just like, it's like the Halloween mask, is just like bleached white. It's just insane, you know? It's just, it's beautiful. I love those shows. They're fantastic. But anyway, apologies for that tangent. It's just, I'm gushing because I do quite enjoy it. For a while there I was concerned, do I? Or am I just saying I do? Like, do I or do I not? I get like this sometimes. Yeah, sometimes I've like, I end up in a weird feeling, like, I'm a rather emotive person, you know? I end up feeling like it was all nothing but acting. And that none of my feelings are actually real. So, yeah. So I guess this is just another one of that. It's a pain in the fucking ass. I'm after losing my train of thought. I did there a few times, but I was able to pull it through. But now it's just like... Yeah, I was like weirdly insecure, like, do I like it or not? And clearly I do. I gush so hard about it. But yeah, I get the same way about like other things, so I guess it's just a continuation of that bullshit. Oof. Chapter 2, Allies. Act 2, Chapter 2, Allies. As the massive armies of the Empire march against their demonic foes to regain their lost territories, as the inhabitants of the Orc Islands are calling for a meeting, as the unliving forces of the mountain prepare to make their move, Solana Woodhunter, emissary of the Elven Queen Renova, is on her way back from a failed diplomatic mission. The lack of any support to war effort against their common foe has left the elves politically isolated. Solana hopes she can still salvage her mission by calling upon her friends within the Imperial Army. I'm sorry, Lady Woodhunter, but the General's decision is final. Unless her people increase their contribution to the war effort, there'll be no Imperial reinforcements. We have a war to focus on. I understand, General Genesis, but my people are in danger. If our armies don't help us, it's only a matter of time until my people fall. Not only will that mean that it counts elves, but also endanger your own borders. As long as the Kingdom War still stands, your kingdom is in no danger, Lady Woodhunter. People will benefit from supporting the Imperials with your own forces. Demon slaves appearing deep within our territory is a constant threat during Whitefield, as I'm sure your king and Peru is aware of. My knights and I are already fighting 2 wars, one against the demons and one against the barbaric centaurs within our own borders. So Rhea is not going to send forces to support a realm which has never, ever even lifted as much as a finger to aid us. I want to help your people, Lady Woodhunter, I really do. But how can I justify it to my men, sending them to fight for a race that has not had any monetary or military support for ages, and is still unwilling to change that? How would you justify it to their families and friends if soldiers fell in battle? He's making a reasonable point. I've tried to convince the Queen to change her stance and have the elves further support the war efforts. She disagreed. Still, without our allies, we'll stand no chance once war comes to our homes. There must be another way. The offer to High King still stands, Lady Woodhunter. Despite being unable to send any troops, we're more than willing to sell your people ore and other materials for a fair price. That's useful. I have to agree with our Imperial friends. People have had centuries to change. We're in the middle of an apocalyptic war once again. Do not expect help when everything must be devoted to the war effort. You see, Lady Woodhunter, the situation will be different if your people were part of the Empire. While you are valuable allies, no doubt, they're not under the protection of the Imperial Army. Indeed, all this could have been solved if people would not cling to their sovereignty. We respect your independence, but it comes at a price. Playing your hand is a bit much there, eh? But they are right, Lady Woodhunter. People have stood out in the Central Continent for a long time unchanging, letting the world pass them by. We've found a new ally across the sea to form the Empire and the endless invasions, but you and yours are still the same. As long as your people do not contribute to the war efforts of the kingdoms and the Empire, your people stand alone. The past dealings of the mother of your queen with one or even several nobles of the kingdoms are not going to be renewed. I see. I'll bring your words to my queen then. Until then, I wish you good luck in your war efforts. My lady, are you listening? I'm sorry. I was just lost in my thoughts. What were you saying? Said I don't think the humans will change their minds because you'll talk with this friend of yours. Are you alright, my lady? Yes, don't worry about me. We have to try. We really need the help of the Empire. They'd be ready to help us if Queen Renova didn't always deny them our help. So you think it's her fault? I'm just saying that I believe we could accomplish so much more if we'd work more openly with the humans and dwarves. Come on, we should get going. I wonder if that's a bit of their drow ancestry coming through. You know, being dickbags. Mira True Shot. Ah, her subordinate.
Yes, my friend.
You know, like how the drow are backstabby pieces of shit that hate everyone. And the elves out here are actually actually split off of them, just with their whole history deleted. Just their bit of drow heritage coming through. Or like, I can't remember if it was ever explained why the queen wouldn't help the humans and dwarves. Why she was insistent on demanding their help at every turn, while giving none back. I don't think that was ever explained. It was just her being a pain in the ass. Yeah, I think it was just her being a pain in the ass. I don't think it was ever explained. Yeah, maybe she's just really in tune with her drow heritage. General Solana Woodhunter. General Woodhunter is more than just a general. She serves the queen as her diplomat and is often found traveling through the kingdoms. I am among those who always come to her when duty calls. Ever since she became general, she's tried to press a more proactive role in the war for our kind. But she's not been very successful in her endeavours. She and Lord Aganis Terran are the ones to thank for our military getting at least slightly higher numbers and more influence. Much to the dismay of others at court, especially the ones of the eastern lands. I'm proud to serve at Solana's side, seeing the outside world as something far more elves should experience. Aran the Sacrificing. Aran is an old friend of Solana. He's a member of the Paladin Order and friends with many other Paladins and nobles, both from the kingdoms and the Empire. I've heard that he has a brother who, while looking similar to him, is taking a completely different path. I have fought by the Paladin side before. He's a good man. That brother thing is a new point. Also, calling him Aaron the Sacrificer. I'm trying to remember. I remember laughing about that because it was like Aaron. Then suddenly Aaron the Sacrificing, like emphasizing, I am doing a heroic sacrifice right now. And now it's that's at least how I remember playing out. Maybe that's not quite accurate. Imperial army. Don't really have an opinion on the Imperials. No, Elven army. I'd like to say that despite our low numbers, the military of my people is strong. That our knights can hold the line against the enemies of our kind. That our magicians are the envy of the continent. But that'll be a lie. We're understaffed. Too few of my people would actually join the military and stay there. It's frustrating because our people could provide far more soldiers than we're currently fielding. Many even have rudimentary training, but it's not put to use. To reduce costs and save resources that are then either stored or wasted for extravagance. What good is a magic fountain that is filled with wine instead of water, when the demons overrun our borders? If it wasn't for General Woodhunter and Lord Terran, our numbers would be even lower. I can only hope that our queen will change this eventually. Dread to think what would happen if not. They're humans like the ones from the kingdoms, but from the other side of the Great Sea. Without them, my people would fall just like the kingdoms of the humans and dwarves. But such things always come at a price. Our queen thinks they're valuable allies and friends to our people. I hope she's right. Allies and friends, more like minions and dogs' bodies, demon legions, the enemy of all other races on this continent. We don't really know why. My people, being philosophers rather than warriors, have often found themselves wondering about the motivations of the demons. Something I agree on with the humans. It doesn't matter what drives them; they're a threat. Shoot arrows and ask questions later, or not at all. Demonic corpses don't talk, and if they did, I'd just shoot another arrow. Both sides are true. Depending on why they were attacking, it's always possible it's, torn in the lion's paw, You could do something to make them stop attacking. Maybe in the lion case, it's a befriending scenario, but not so far. Maybe you could do something to get them off your ass, It'd be kind of hard to genocide all demons, and given that they keep just throwing out apocalyptic wars constantly, an alternative answer may be more fitting. But with Aradon, it would be next to impossible to actually find one. You just keep it. It's just forever war with him. I used to dislike humans and dwarves before I travelled with General Woodhunter. In travels, I got to know them, to respect them, to appreciate them. There was that one soldier. We met with his group in a village and travelled together to the next city. He and I talked a lot about politics, life, and basically everything. It was a nice chat we had. I still remember his face, the way he laughed. Then there was the ambush. Orc raiders. We were surrounded, but we defeated them. He saved my life during that battle by putting his shield in front of me, lost his own. I send his wife and children a letter and whatever money I can spare every year to provide for them. I don't care if he was just a low-ranked soldier. For me, he was a hero, and a hero's death should not result in their family's suffering. That's actually quite sweet. Elven Kingdom. Unlike the rest of Arkain, our realm has remained free of violence for ages, though our own origins remain lost in history. While beasts and animals were the only prey for our hours. Our people are united under the rule of our queen and the aristocracy who led us through centuries of peace. Sounds good, doesn't it? Well, it's what our people tell themselves. Everything is nice and well the truth is that we're helpless. Our people lack military strength, and our magic is mostly weighted for non-combative uses. There was a time when we could afford that. When Xionor stood, my grandmother told me no outside harm ever befell us, except for that one war against the Zionese, which ended rather quickly when the ruler died and its successor no interested in war anymore. But that's suspicious. But Xionor fell, and our people were suddenly attacked by the demons, just like the rest of the continent. Our people were forced to ally with the dwarves, and the new human nation to survive. Now they're abandoning us. Queen tried to work closer with the Imperials since the kingdoms made it quite clear that they've had enough of us not participating more as much as we should. But Imperials are demanding too demanding for money. Too demanding for money. Some like me want our people to adapt to change, but unlike others, I prefer to change coming from our people themselves rather than outside pressure and influence. Probably for the best. I'm also kind of inclined to have her refuse the last remaining memento of Selana's parents who died during the World War decades ago. That's also a necklace of, wasn't it meant to be of the Dragon Slayer? The Lich. A memento they got off of him or something. When he was human. I am thinking of having her refuse to help Gardon.
I await your command.
Because Or can I have her help Gardon but refuse the upgrade? I'll have her help Gardon, but if I can, I'll have her refuse the upgrade. It's just I want to try and get a better ending for her and the other elf, because if the other elf ends up in Gardon's side, the ring of her murdered beloved will end up enchanted by Gardon, so she'll be fanatically in love with him, constantly wanting to jump his bones, as in flinging herself at him to be raped again and again. She may be consenting, but that's because he's telling her to. He's domineering her mind. So, and then Solana will end up stabbed and left to die in the woods. Meanwhile, if the Solana goes under it, she'll become his queen and become queen of the elves, and again probably end up the same as the other one. So I want both of them to have a better time, at least the potential of it. An unknown fate is better than a known.
I await your command.
Is my aid required?
Elven heritage, 20% off piercing attacks. I hate that phrasing because I skim it. Reduces damage taken from piercing attacks 80%. I kind of skim words there, so I may reduce the damage, piercing attacks 80%. So it reduces it by 80% rather than to 80%.
Is someone injured?
Waiting on you.
Yes, my friend.
On the way. I'm listening.
She's also apparently not elven.